Okay, this video I'm going to talk to you a bit more about planning and how to plan a quick, simple session without any frills really, just how to get started. Okay, so we have this book here called Monet. Where did you pick it up, Sue?
Oh, it was off the internet. It was about 10p, second hand.
So don't pay, like £10 for these books. Just go into a charity shop, pick up cheap things, and they will have all the information you need there. First of all, we're going to show you what not to do.
And bear in mind, this is for people who are just starting out with RPM. Okay, so we're not talking about people who've been doing it for any length of time.
Don't put in the comments like, oh, would I do this? Yeah, you might be fine for your child. Okay. Claude Monet was born in Paris, France in 1840. He was a great artist and helped invent an important style of painting called an Impressionism. So what did Claude Monet do? Did he invent an important style of painting called Impressionism? Or did he invent an important style of painting called realism? Which one? Impressionism. So why not do that at the start, Sue?
Right. So basically, what Alex has done, it's not a long paragraph, but she's read the whole paragraph and she's just gone sort of straight in.
I've just chosen the last thing I said. So
and the last thing that she said is
it's
the question.
It's as if none of the other bits are important. I've just literally chosen the last word in the whole paragraph and it's like, ooh, that'll do.
Right.
Tick.
And so many people that we've seen who start to do RPM fall into this trap of feeling that you've got to read a paragraph and then go back and ask questions on it. And maybe that's because in school, when you did a traditional English comprehension, that's how it was done.
Yeah.
And it was a test, it was a comprehension test. RPM is not a test, all right? What we're doing, particularly in the early stages, is we're building skills. So we want to give the child the opportunity to interact, to point, to make choices, to build his skills of purposeful pointing.
Yeah. Also remember that RPM, primarily is an educational tool. Yeah. So we want to really exploit all of the opportunities here to look at language, to look at each kind of chunk of information and really pull it all apart so that we get a really deep experience of learning where someone can engage and feel stimulated rather than blah 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 impressionism. What? Impressionism? Because honestly, if that was me, I would just tune out and think, oh right, she's just going to choose something in the last sentence, so I might perk up for that bit. But otherwise, I'm just going to drift off.
And our kids are clever.
Yeah.
We know that. So let's see how it should be done.
So the first sentence here is Claude Monet was born in Paris, France in 1840. Have a listen to that again and try and see how many chunks of information there are. Just try and think about it now. So Claude Monet was born in Paris, France in 1840. I would certainly say that there's at least 3 chunks of information. So Claude Monet being one, he was born in Paris, France, and 1840. So my first point would certainly be, today we're going to talk about, a man called Claude Monet. Claude, M-O-N-E-T, Monet.
So she's written down the key words and spelt out the word that she's going to ask me about.
Yeah. Tell you what, I'll just write out my plan first and I'll show you what the whole first kind of sentence would look like. So the next bit was born in Paris, France. So that's my second bit of information. Now, this is interesting. If I was working with a younger child, here maybe would be a good opportunity to talk about capitals as well. So first of all, I'd say Paris, France. For an older child, I might, assume that they would know that. Or if they hadn't had any exposure there, I'd teach that too. So let's do it as if we're doing a younger child. Okay, yeah. So Paris. Third chunk of information then would be Paris is a capital. That's the head of a country. And then maybe I'm going to talk about how England has a capital too, which is London. Yeah. And we haven't even covered the first sentence yet. And then the last bit is that was in 1840. So from one sentence there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 words, we have 6 or 5 chunks of information. So let's see how the session would look now. and see how we're really having now a seesaw of interaction rather than me just talking and Sue just having to do something at the end. Okay, so today we're going to talk about a man called Claude Money, M-O-N-E-T, Money. Who are we going to talk about? It's a man called Claude M-O-N-E-T, Money, or Claude Francis, F-R-A-N-C-I-S, Francis. Which one? Yeah, Claude Money. Pretend I've stuck it down. And Claude Money was a man who was actually born in Paris, P-A-R-I-S, Paris. So where was he born? Was he born in Germany, G-E-R-M-A-N-Y, Germany? Or was he born in Paris, P-A-R-I-S, Paris? Which one? Yeah, he was born in Paris. And Paris is actually a capital country.
City.
Oh, capital country. A capital city. C-I-T-Y, city. Oh, tell you what. I'll tell you a bit more about that in a second. So Paris is what? A capital C-I-T-Y city? Or Paris is a capital H-O-L-E hole? Which one? Yeah, capital city. Now, even England has a capital city. England's capital city is London. L-O-N-D-O-N, London. So France is Paris, and London's is... What did we say it was? Did we say it was M-A-N-C-H-E-S-T-E-R, Manchester, or L-O-N-D-O-N, London? Which one? Very good. It was London. So every country has a capital city. Now this all happened many years ago in 1840. 1840, that's how we write it. So in what year was it? In the year 1840, 1840, or in the year 1999, 1999. Which one? That's it. Very good. 1840. So we just finished the session when the camera
and the
went.
batteries ran out.
It's okay, we got the session in. So you saw there how we managed to break down each chunk and have, look, we've done a whole page of information there. So Sue had opportunities to engage in the lesson, so to learn more. And also to actually have the practice of pointing as well. And if we had moved on to stencils, you see how the spelling also would have developed a phonics skills and worked on that.
Yeah.
And actually probably, with the stencil work as well, you're probably looking at a 10-minute session there before we've even got onto the second sentence.
Yeah. If you've got, this is such a brilliant one to use as an example because there's so many opportunities to expand. As Alex did with the capital city, and because we were talking as if to a younger child, Alex just said, the capital city of England is London. But with an older child, you might just be able to say, oh, I wonder if you know any other capital cities. How about, the capital city of England? Would you say it's London or would you say it's Berlin? And that's a great way then with older kids to really get them thinking in a little bit of a different way.
And also to allow them to show what they know as well, because that's always a good feeling.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why going from a book is such a good idea really is because you come across language that you might not naturally say in your every kind of day vocabulary. So, for example, the next sentence is, he was a great artist and helped invent an important style. So then I'd look at the word invent. What word would you put with invent? The word create or the word table? Or this is why you have to plan as well, because sometimes it's quite difficult to think of that wrong choice in the moment, and sometimes you'll say the wrong choice but then you realise, well actually a table was invented at some point.
Yeah. So let's go through these points that we thought about before when you come to actually plan out a session. Obviously, the easy option would be just to read it from the book and to have all your notes sort of written on the book. My experiences, particularly when I was first learning, was that it was more effective for me to write out my notes myself. And I wrote them out, I wrote them out in longhand, and I wrote them out and I planned out exactly what my choices were going to be. And I particularly had to plan out what my wrong choices were going to be.
And also the order of the choices as well.
So sort of coming down this session, we're talking about Claude Monet. Who are we talking about? I would have written out in my notes, are we talking about Monet? And I might put Monet first, or Smith, and I have Smith second. And then for my next point, I'd have, and he was born in Paris, and I would have written out, so where was he born? Where did I say was he born in? And this time I might write London down first and then Paris as second. So I've got my wrong choices and my right choices, but I'm varying whether I'm pushing them first or second all the way through.
So by doing that and by preparing well, you don't have to stress about any of that in the session then, because it's already done. So that means in the session then you can focus maybe on the skill work a little bit more. And so because if you're then thinking, oh gosh, what's the wrong choice going to be, and then we've got to spell, we've got to choose, you just won't be able to effectively support somebody improve their skill level. So it's a lot more effective at the start to invest a bit more time in the lesson planning until you can kind of confidently maybe write down your key points instead.
Because don't forget, we've talked about your building your child's skill. Well, first of all, you've got to work on your own skill, your skill in presenting the information effectively to your child. And I can't stress enough that the amount of time that you spend preparing will pay dividends. Yes. I used to do dry runs with an imaginary Christopher sat next to me, and practice it all through, talk it all through, as if I was doing the session before I did it with Chris.
I used to do that and film myself as well.
Yeah, I've done that too.
And you look really crazy.
Yeah, but it really, really helps you to become more effective quickly.
Especially talking it through is helpful, because getting into that style. So today we're talking about money. Who are we talking about? Money. Because otherwise you can't help, because it's so natural for us to just say, who are we talking about?
And I've had people, where new people start with Chris that we've tried to help, and I've said to them, so have you planned it through? Oh yeah, I've been through it all. And they've been through it all in their head. And I'm not being funny, but when you just talk it through in your head, it is not the same as talking it through out loud, writing down, so role play it through. If you've got an amenable friend, partner or whatever, do it with them first. And then you'll quickly build your own skills.
Yeah, remember that you can't really, help your child's skill level progress until your skill level's at a reasonable level yourself. So a lot of people, when they start, they're like, oh, my child's not pointing at the right answer, and they seem to be over here and over there. Well, a lot of the time, actually that's down to your skill level. So you need to actually allow your child to kind of don't be too hard on your child at the start. Don't be thinking, oh gosh, why are they getting it wrong? Because actually at the start, you have to work on yourself.
Yeah, it's probably you.
And often, over time, when you watch yourself back, you realise, oh, actually, I was just putting the right choice there all the time, and I was just putting it here all the time, or actually that chunk of information was far too long for anybody to listen to.
Yeah. And the other thing is, go easy on yourself. You know what? You will get tongue-tied. You'll make mistakes.
Embrace it.
And if you do that during the session with your child, try and just have a laugh about it and relax, because actually you're teaching your child a valuable learning point here, which is that, everyone makes mistakes when they're learning new things, and it's fine and it's okay, and the only way we improve is by practicing and getting better. So that in itself is a valuable learning point.
Final point I'll say as well is RPM, it's something that you do have to learn as you go along. A lot of people think, I'm not going to do my first session yet because I just want to make sure, I know everything, kind of know all about and I know all of this. You'll never be able to do your first session perfectly, never. So get that out of your head now. It's far better to just throw yourself in there. Plan something simple like this. It won't take you long. Have a practice, do the session, and then from all those questions you have, that's a starting point for you to move forward. If you just sit there doing nothing, it's very hard to make any progress just thinking about it. You have to do it.
Yeah, if you want to Google something quickly as an idea for a lesson plan as well, things like children's fables are brilliant, and you can use those with older children as well.
Tables are great.
You know, they can be used with any age group at all. So that would be a good one, you know, that you could just Google on the computer quickly.
Okay. Well, we hope that's been helpful. Any questions, leave them in the comments.
Who? Who went to knock?
Don't know where to look.